Today we're going to take a quick look at Tinykin to see if it's worth your time. Tinykin is available on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC via Steam, and is a day one Game Pass game on console and PC. In Tinykin, you play as Milo, a scientist who arrives on Earth only to realize that he is way too small and that no time has passed since 1991. Rather than telling you everything about the game, what I would rather do is show you real quick the tutorial of the game just to give you a quick glance at what the game offers so you can decide whether or not the game is for you. So here we go. We're going to meet our first character. This is Ridme. This is the main character in the game that's going to help you along your way. Basically, he's going to guide you through the game, and you're going to complete quests for him, bringing him back parts so that he can help you escape Earth and get back to your home planet. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to breeze through the dialogue just to keep it as brief as possible. I do recommend reading the dialogue as it comes up. The dialogue is very helpful. It tells you, it guides you along your journey, tells you kind of what you need to be doing, and don't basically just read it. There's not too much of it, so read it. And just to give you a scope of the size here of the game, it kind of looks like, I think this is like a 12-inch ruler maybe, I don't know. So our character is maybe a couple inches tall, maybe it's probably a couple inches tall. So real quick what this game is, it's basically an action 3D platformer. And what we're going to be doing here is navigating our way through this little kind of like obstacle course here. And you're going to notice that you do have some abilities. The first one's going to be the soap bubbles. So basically, as you progress through the game, you'll be able to get more soap bubbles. That will allow you to go further. If you do fall down, you can jump back up and climb up these ropes, which are conveniently placed in many locations. There is fall damage, and actually, let's talk about these guys right here. This is the Tinykin. This is what the game is named after, basically. These are little creatures that you'll run into. There's several different variations. Each one has a different ability. The first one we're going to find here is going to be the pink version, and as you'll quickly see, these guys are basically like ants. They are super strong, and when you put a bunch of them together, they can move large objects, which can be helpful in either giving you access to a place you otherwise couldn't get to, or maybe helping you reach a place you couldn't otherwise reach. So as I was saying here, basically there is fall damage in the game, so do be careful about that. I did want to mention that. So here we're going to skip here. We're going to skip through this real quick, and he's basically going to tell us that we have to move the flower pot, which you're going to see over in the distance. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be collecting all the Tinykin that are needed right here in this area to move the flower pot. So we're going to need 30 of them to complete this, and there are conveniently exactly 30 of them, so we're going to grab all these guys. You also notice there's drums here. You'll find drums in, I'm sure, many of the levels. There's going to be things you can bounce off of that can let you get to other areas. You're going to be utilizing basically combinations of the different abilities that you unlock. And like I said, there's going to be soap bubble things. You can unlock more of the soap bubbles to be able to go further. Each level is also going to have some collectible items. There is nectar that you can collect, as well as pieces for the museum. We'll be introduced to the museum curator and the nectar guy in just a second once we get through the tutorial area. And these should be the last ones we need to grab. We need exactly 30, which conveniently there's 30 right here. So once we have all 30, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. We're going to aim at the flower pot after we talk to Ridme. He's going to tell us to move the flower pot. So basically we just aim here, shoot our Tinykin at it, and as long as you have the adequate number, they will do what they're supposed to do. So in this case, they move the flower pot so we could access this vent right here. The reason we're going to get in this vent is we're going to be collecting the first component that we have to get for Ridme to help us along our journey throughout the game. So as you can see here with these goggles, this is going to require 20 of them, I believe. So we throw those over there. They're gonna bring us out here. There's usually errors that tell you where you need to take it. So in this case, we're gonna be following along over here. I guess I'm supposed to talk to him just to prompt him to move. Okay. Move it along. The game does encourage lots of exploration. You'll notice what I'm gonna do is after we get out of the tutorial area, I'm gonna give you a brief glimpse at the first major area you're gonna go to, just to give you a scale of it. Don't wanna have any spoilers, so I'm not gonna show you anything I'm not gonna do anything in there other than just kind of give you a quick glimpse of it. But basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna progress through each area. Each area is gonna have different puzzles you have to solve using different combinations of the Tinykin as well as the abilities you unlock. And each area is gonna have a component that you're gonna have to get to collect for Ridme so you can progress on and eventually make your way back so you can have your ship repaired and get yourself back into outer space so you can go back to your home planet. So this is going to be the workshop. The workshop's basically going to be the area where you can see what you put into there, turn things into the museum, as well as there's the nectar guy up here, which we're going to be introduced into in a second. Here's the different components we're going to have to collect. So there was our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more that we haven't collected just yet. And like I said, I'm skipping all the dialogue just to keep the video as brief as possible. Definitely recommend reading the dialogue. There's not a ton of it. Usually at the beginning of each level, there's going to be some dialogue that kind of gives you an overview of what your goal is for that area. And it'll also point out some important pieces so that you don't miss them and get stuck on things. Here's Prattle. Prattle's the museum curator. You will find items that you can turn in to the museum. And then here's Sakaru, who is the nectar brewer. And you're going to find lots of nectar throughout the levels. In fact, there's tons of nectar, and it's all over the place. So because of these reasons, it's going to give you a reason to search every corner of the map and go back to places that you might not have been able to access the first time you went past them. So here's the first unique item we're going to be getting. This is the soap board. The soap board is going to allow us to grind. So you can fast travel around the maps using this. It's basically akin to sprinting. It also lets you grind on the silk rope that these little guys make for you. These are the assistants for Ridme. They will shoot some silk rope out, which will let you get to and from places that are up high, down low, and it lets you just get back and forth very quickly. So as you're going to see, this guy's going to shoot his little silk rope up there. I guess they're kind of like little furry spiders. They do have 8 legs. So we're going to jump over here, jump on here, jump up, and we're going to grind ourselves up here. And that's going to be that part of the workshop. So up on the workshop, so here he's going to tell us we need to get the second component. Real quick, before we go do that, I'm not going to go up to show you, but basically, you're going to see the museum is going to be up here, and then the museum and the nectar are going to be up here. You can get to these different areas up here, which will be doing stuff later on, but there's no reason to go up there right now because we have nothing to turn in. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over here into this vent, and the vent's going to take us to the transitor crossing. There are cutscenes between the areas, but they are not terribly large, and basically what this is going to do is we're going to have to take this key that you can see here, and we're going to take that and unlock the door. And then we'll be on to our first main area. So there we go. One cool thing you'll notice really quickly is the Tinykin will actually follow you. So as I'm going over here, you'll notice the Tinykin can just make their way over here, which is awesome. We're going to jump up here and grind our way up, and the Tinykin will make their way up here. So this game kind of, for me, is a combination of Pikmin with, I guess you could say, Grounded, because you're shrunk down. Even though it's not a survival game, it's going to give you the scale of being shrunk down in a world where you're like the size of an ant, and also having the little Tinykin, which are akin to like the Pikmin. And there's been other games I've played that have had similar features where you use several little creatures to complete tasks. So here's gonna be the first example. If I just jump off of here, I will die, but instead what I'll do is I'll wait till I get close to the ground, use my bubble, and safely land. Now if you die, you just respawn, so it's not a huge ordeal. You'll just respawn where you fell from. There is no limit on the number of lives. From what I've seen so far, there has not been any combat. These are the shield bugs that are going to be in the first area, and essentially what you have to do is complete the quest for them so we can get that banner they're guarding right there, because that's the next component that Ridme is going to need. So like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into this area. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the scale of it. So as you can see, this is the city of Sanctor. This is the first room we're going into. So the levels are going to be rooms within this house. It's fairly large when you're the size of an ant. As you can see, there's lots of places that you can climb up to, that you can reach via climbing, via jumping, via floating, via using the soap grinder as well. And we're going to skip past all the dialogue here. Like I said, definitely make sure you read the dialogue, because it's going to tell you what to do. I've already played through this level, so I'm just skipping through it. But basically, we need to get that banner, which they're guarding, and they will not give up until you have played the music for them. So there's the CD. That's the first main thing that they're showing you off. So we're gonna have to do something with that. As you can see here, we're just gonna get a quick look around. There's more of the pink Tinykin here, and there's gonna be some red ones over here. These are new ones. These have a different feature. Over here is gonna be nectar. So the nectar, as you can see, it's kind of like all over the place. As you collect this, you're gonna see right there it says, I have currently collected 14 out of 1,000. So there's quite a bit of it around the map. There's also gonna be, if we go into the menus, we're going to see, it's gonna tell you what your main quest is right now. Here's the pieces you need to complete it. There's going to be 3 more quests here. There's 3 pieces for the museum. It currently says there's 1,000 pieces of nectar, and there's also an extra soap bubble unlock. Over here, you can go to this screen. This is going to tell you what's been collected for the museum, all the items, as well as the potions that you brewed here. And that's basically the gist of Tinykin. Like I said, it's available on all platforms. It's on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, I definitely recommend trying it out, because you're already paying for Game Pass. You can try it out for free. If you're playing on other platforms, if you like action adventure games, if you like platformers, if you like puzzle games, if you like collectathons, definitely recommend trying this out. Honestly, this is not the kind of game that I would typically play, but after playing through the first level, the tutorial in the first level, I'm definitely going to be trying it out because I have Game Pass. And honestly, even if I didn't, I'd probably purchase it anyway, because it just seems like a kind of game just to You can play over the course of a couple days, maybe a week or so, casually. There's not like, it's just basically a fun game to play without too much stress involved in it. So anyway, that's Tinykin. Well, let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be trying it out. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.